Hi, everyone. So for week four's discussion, I decided to go with the prompt, which female rhetorician and orators from ancient Greece intrigued you and why? I decided to go with Sappho. Sappho I found interesting for a number of reasons. Firstly, I thought it was very fascinating how she was considered one of the greatest lyricists of all time, but yet her work, we only have one piece of her complete work preserved, which is kind of crazy to me. This was due to a few reasons. Firstly, the church tried to get rid of all work that was considered pagan work, and then the dialect that her work was done in started to go out of fashion just from people not speaking it. It was kind of a dying dialect. So I found that really interesting. Just kind of the I guess two opposing events that happened. You had her work, which was considered really great work, but then it's not really preserved. So if that makes sense. I also found just her personal history, as far as that she was a very educated woman, which going back through history, it's kind of you kind of don't think that it was a more progressive time in some aspects and regards. The island where she was from, Lesbos, was very progressive even for ancient Greece, and women were very educated, tended to be educated. So I found that very very intriguing, because even if you look through even back 100 years, women were considered by a lot of people to be less intelligent than men. So just the idea that back then she would be so educated, and it was so long ago, you would it's kind of turns that thought process in your kind of on its head, that okay, have we kind of gone backwards in the scheme of things as far as being progressive as far as women go? If that makes any sense. The um the last thing I will say is, I couldn't help but make connections of her to modern day lyricists. Um, People may disagree with me on this, and that is a-okay, but I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, and I consider her to be a really great lyricist. People always just hear what's on the radio, and they're very dismissive of her music. And if you listen to especially her songs that are not on the radio, that she's written just not about breakups, you see what a great lyricist she really is. And I couldn't help but make connections between her and Sappho. Um, Especially when you think about, you have this kind of, when you look at the extreme Christian right, for example, you have them, funny enough, calling her a witch, and her lyrics being pagan lyrics, and just having that connection. Um, I'm sure Sappho had the same judgment put on her works by the ancient church. So in the same way, Taylor Swift, and her to a lesser degree, of course, are are being persecuted by the same kind of mindset. So I found that connection very intriguing. Uh, and you can even look at, there's some songs I can think of Taylor Swift's that kind of are similar to Sappho's. Um, for example, on page 47 of our textbook, under 6, it's no use. This is one of her pieces of work. It's no use, mother dear, I can't finish my weaving. You may blame Aphrodite, soft as she is. She has almost killed me with love for that boy. And I could definitely see Taylor Swift pulling some inspiration from Sappho, funny enough. Um, and I could definitely see her in the future using inspiration from somebody like Sappho. So that's just what I thought about this week's discussion. Sorry I wasn't a little bit more eloquent. I'm trying to get better with with doing videos just to get more comfortable with things. So thank you for kind of bearing along with me.